Well, let's see how the ag markets are holding up. We have a lot of volatility in the outside markets. What's going on in the grain? Well, let's look at our corn. And in the corn market here this morning, we have the March contract still 1 3/4 cents lower at 5.94 1/2, but it's nothing like what we had overnight when it was about 6 lower. December new crop corn now down 1 1/4. We're at 5.57, so it hasn't really moved too much ever since the opening bell. On our quotes provided by bar chart, you have March now trading 15 lower on the soybeans, so that would be at 13.54 3/4. And we have September soybeans down 13.5 cents right now. Moving on to that new crop November contract, we'll see what it's doing. Currently, you have it trading at 12.81 1/2, and that is down 11.5 cents on the day. Well, moving on to the wheat market, we want to get you updated on Chicago March. We're now 22 3/4 cents higher at 7.64 1/4. How about that? You haven't seen much in the way of big gains in wheat here lately. Well, they're making up some lost ground here today. We're almost on the high of the day, only 2 ticks from it right now. July, by the way, is 18 3/4 cents higher. Kansas City wheat on the March, we're up 23 cents at 7.68. 2 ticks from our high of the day. July is now up 21.5 cents. So a big up day in the wheat markets and not the others. And now you have March spring wheat, 13 cents higher. We're at 8.91 1/4. July up 12 1/4. Meanwhile, in the cotton trade, well, you have the nearby March contract down 27 points, but new crop December up 92. It's at 97.75, way out there. Ben Hushon joins us now. He's with the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. Well, first of all, give me a weather update, if you would, Ben. Did you get caught up in that big winter storm, and how'd you come through it?
Good morning, Marlin. I was counting on this morning being able to send some video and pictures in to your viewers of a really nice snowfall. Well, it rolled in, began snowing before dark Sunday afternoon. Had a good bit on the ground, and by midnight in most areas switched over to rain, and there wasn't enough to ride a snowmobile or a sled on the next morning. Pretty much all slush by Monday morning.
But you probably needed the moisture, did you not?
Well, and we certainly will definitely take the moisture. It certainly isn't causing any negative issues this time of year. There's no field work trying to be done. So, yes, we will certainly always take the moisture.
Well, as farmers prepare for the spring planting season here, I know you and I have talked at length about the concern about inputs this spring. Anything changing in that regard?
Marlon, it's funny. You've mentioned that several times. We've been keeping our eye on it, working with growers and then, of course, suppliers on the other end. And I still have very little concern in the Mid-Atlantic area for the dry fertilizer for folks. And as you just said, the grain market, fortunately, is pretty strong, so that helps take some of the angst out. But what's becoming more apparent is lack of some of the basic herbicides or not enough of them. For instance, everybody's heard about glyphosate and that we may be 4 million gallons short just on imports alone. But we're more recently running into things like metallochlor, and just to kind of decode metallochlor, that's dual. And I know in some parts of the country it's not quite as strong, but in our area, that's that and atrazine pretty much are the base of your corn products. So your Biceps, your Lexars, your Lumax. And from what we're hearing, it's the supply chain issues. Somewhere around 70% plus of our pesticides or an ingredient in them come from overseas. Of course, the majority of that is from China, and I don't have to tell you, you folks have done an amazing job for 6 months at least talking about supply chain issues, bringing ag products in and out of the U.S. So hopefully we learn from this as a country and as companies see opportunities to move some things back here. But it is definitely for growers time to get with your suppliers and get serious about committing to what you're going to do this spring so your suppliers can then get figured out what to do and be ready to be flexible in 2022.
Excellent advice. I would echo that 100 times over. Thank you, Ben, for sharing that. And I hope everybody's paying attention. Do not wait until the last minute to get everything purchased this year. You may not be able to get it. Ben Hushon of the mill in Whitehall, Maryland will be back in a moment, and we'll talk livestock next.